process for everybody, so you grow in the skill of time management. So I'm going to read you a quote, and we're going to start by focusing on time management, and then we're going to switch to IPAs and talk about what IPAs are. But I'm going to read you a quote, and then I want you to tell me what you think of this quote. Be as productive as possible in every moment of your life. What does that mean to you? Be as productive as possible in every moment of your life.
Use your time wisely.
Is that productive as possible in every moment of your life? You might think, are you crazy? I don't want to become a success maniac. I want to have fun. I like to spend time with friends. I like to go shopping. I like to go to the theater, watch TV too. Now, I wouldn't urge you to abandon all of this. I believe that being successful means having more time to spend with friends and more money to spend for shopping. And being productive doesn't always mean working. Then what does being productive really mean? Well, it depends. What are your goals? And more important, what is your vision? The big scenario of your life. You know, lying in the sun can be very productive if you're deficient in vitamin D, because it replenishes your energy and gives you what you need. Spending time with friends or with a good book can be productive, too. It fuels you with knowledge, relaxes, inspires you, right? But quite often the most productive thing you can do is just spend time with your loved ones. But the most productive thing is something, however, very often the most productive thing is something you really don't feel like doing. And here, the difference between losers and winners in life becomes most apparent. Winners are able to concentrate and push themselves to do what needs to be done, regardless of their mood. Losers, on the other hand, or the unproductive people, very seldom even think in the category of what's productive and what's not. So I love that quote because be as productive as possible in every moment of your life. If we choose to do the things that we need to do, when we have those moments to do the things we want to do also, we can feel productive even in that moment because we have a sense of satisfaction that we've already produced what we need to produce. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so time management. You know, we talk a lot about time management in Mary Kay, and you know, you hear time management everywhere, right? How many of you have bought a new planner in your life? How many of you have, within 2 months, bought another new planner? And another? Okay. So time management really is not about time, because time is consistent. You can't change the clock, you can't change the time, you can't change a second, you can't change it there's 24 hours in a day. Time management is really about self-management. It's really about you managing yourself in the time that you have. Right? Does that make sense? Okay. Can you change time? Anybody in here? All right, then we all need to learn how to manage ourselves. Okay, so there's a lot of methods to manage your time, right? If you go to Annapolis Mall, you can go to the Franklin Covey store and spend hundreds. What?
It closed.
Oh, it did. Well, you know, I do not go shopping. I don't go to the mall that much. That tells you a little bit more about me. But you can go there and spend a whole lot of money on planners at Franklin Covey. Or you can go over here to CVS and get a little planner for about $5. There's paper planners, you know, there's electronic planners, there's iCalendar, Google Calendar. There's all kinds of different methods, right? And sometimes we get caught up in the methods of time management, right? I get caught up a lot in the methods of time management. I just need something, I need a new way to do this. There's something I'm not getting. There's a secret to time management that I haven't gotten yet, right? I need a new planner. I need something different. But you know what? It's really no secret. The method is not the secret to time management. It really is your mindset. It's really your mindset about time management and about how you're going to manage the time that you have and yourself being in that moment. So I love this thing that our national sales director says. She says this all the time, and I love it. I even say it to my kids, and they roll their eyes when I say it. If you know it, proper planning prevents poor performance. Write that down. 5 P's. You'll say it over and over again in your head once you memorize it. Proper planning prevents poor performance. It's a mindset, right? It's a mindset. Chipmunk. It's okay. So proper planning prevents poor performance, and a confused mind does nothing. A confused mind does nothing. So we're going to clear out all the cobwebs in your brain tonight. Is that a good feeling? Yes. Clean it out, and we're going to come up with a really simple way to keep yourself organized, because guess who was the master organizer? No. I wish. I already confessed that I'm on a journey of time management, self-management. No, the master was Mary Kay Ash. Okay, she was the master. Her principles are taught in all kinds of schools, and they talk about Mary Kay being one of the most, she was the most productive woman of our time. She really was. So we're going to watch a short video. Just turn on the TV. Really quick video of Mary Kay, and I love watching our founder, Mary Kay Ash, and the words that she says to us, because we can always have her words, because we have, because of the internet and everything.
You might have to turn up the volume. Oh, probably not.
Now, let's take a look at what the successful directors are doing to climb to the top of that ladder. You know, we all have the same 24 hours a day. You ever stop to think about that? But how we use those 24 hours makes the difference between success or failure. The use of our time is more important than the quantity of the time spent. The successful person is really just an efficient person with determination, who works less but gets more done through effective time management. First of all, plan your day. Planning time should be included in every single daily schedule. I hope that you're using the 6 most important things list. How do you like the new one? Isn't it great? It's so easy to stick on your bedside table, and the first thing you see every morning are the 6 most important things you have to do today, and it's just great. That has been very important in my life, because I found that using that, I get more done than any other way. And then use your weekly plan sheets to plan your week and each day. It's not enough to just be busy. You know, you've heard a lot of people say, oh, I'm so busy, busy, busy. And they are simply saying that what they did really was get on the phone, you know, and they talked an hour and a half to somebody. That's not being productive. That's time wasted. Because effective time management means that you can distinguish between what's urgent, what's important, and what's trivial. And you are faced with a number of tasks every day, so determine which ones will help you toward meeting your goals, and then do.
Okay, so we cut off there, but what were the 2 things you heard Mary Kay mention in there? The 2 methods that we use a lot of. Ashley, give us one.
The 6 most important things.
What was the other one?
Weekly
plan sheet. All right. These 2 things are going to revolutionize your business. Totally, completely change your business if you will promise to do it for 21 days. You will see a huge shift in the way you run your business. You will. So we're going to start big and go small. So the big plan is that what you first have to do is you have to have a model weekly plan sheet, okay? So let's talk about that really briefly. What you do is you take a week at a glance. Now this is just, I actually forgot to print one, but this one is just one that June had in her bag, okay, that she gave me to use. But it would be blank. It would just have all those cells would be blank. You take that weekly plan sheet and you put, thank you.
You're welcome.
And, oh, I recognize this.
Yes, I think that would be yours.
Many years ago.
Yeah,
So, but okay, weekly plan sheet. You make it blank. Don't overcomplicate it. Put in everything that you can't change, everything that is non-negotiable. You go to work. You've got soccer games every Thursday with the kids, or you've got, you go to church, or you've got a commitment that is a weekly thing that doesn't change, okay? You put it on there. You can color code it if you want to get fancy. I'm not going to go into all that. You can color code it, and then that's your master. You can make copies of that. That's your master. Don't write on your master sheet. Use that as your master. Make copies of it. Make 10 copies of it. You have 10 weekly plan sheets ready to go. All right? The other thing that you can do is if you use electronic, you can do the same thing on electronic. You just do recurring events. Donna's going to train on technology a little bit next week. Maybe she can touch on that. I don't know if that's going to be part of her training. But if you just set up a week and you have recurring events, they always appear on the next week. Okay? And I could show you mine if you're interested later on how that works. But you take that weekly plan sheet because you need to see your whole week at once. And you need to see what you have for your family, what you have personally, and where you're going to work your Mary Kay business. The weekly plan sheet is really key. Mary Kay said it in 1981. And we're still using a weekly plan sheet today. It does not get too old. We think that we have to come up with something new. Don't recreate anything. Just get on it and create a habit. It's the habit that makes you successful, not the method. Okay? The mindset and the habit. So weekly plan sheet, make copies. The other thing that I'm gonna be really honest with you that I'm not consistent with is my 6 most important things list. I'm not consistent with that, but I am going to commit to you right here and now. For 21 days, I am going to do a 6 most important things list. Mary Kay told me to, I'm going to do it, okay? She told me to, I will do it, Mary Kay, because I know it's going to change me. So what a 6 most important things list is, you ever just like thinking about all the things you've got to do, and you've got all these things like cramming in your head, and you're like, too many things, and then you just shut down. You ever have that? It's like when your computer locks up and you got to press the button to restart it. Your brain just, boop, stop, can't take any more. Okay, my suggestion is to take a legal pad of paper, and everything that comes to your head, it's called a splatter sheet, okay, or a frustration list. A splatter sheet, I like that a little more fun than frustration list. Splatter sheet. Take that legal pad and write down everything that's bugging you. Everything that comes into your head, you write it on that one sheet. Not Post-it notes here, a pad there, in your phone, 4 different places, one paper, okay? So you have it right there, one paper. And then what you do is you categorize that stuff by personal and business, okay? Then you take it and categorize it. You can do one on one side and one on the other. Personal and business. That's your splatter sheet. This is like your rough copy that you're going to work from. Every time something comes to your head, you write it on a splatter sheet. You're going to have a lot of things written on the splatter sheet, okay? But what you're going to do with your 6 most important things list is you're going to look at that sheet and you're going to make your list for tomorrow. Just 6 things. Not 7, not 8, not 2, no, 6. Exactly 6. It's been proven that you can't complete more than 6 tasks in a day. You try it, okay? You probably won't. But you write 6 things down on that list for tomorrow, and you always write them down the day before, okay? You write them down tonight before you go to bed. How's it going to feel tomorrow morning when you wake up and you have your list all ready for your day? And you don't have to spend a half an hour thinking, what was that thing I was supposed to do today? I forgot, you know? So it's going to feel accomplished. What else? How are you going to feel? Organized. Give me some adjectives. Organized. What else? Peaceful.
Yeah.
Focused. Are these good words?
Yes.
Awesome words. When you have your list, you're like, I'm ready to go. Okay, I'm going to give you a little analogy. I have a horrible habit of leaving dirty dishes in the sink at night. Okay? That's just my thing. I am a morning person, and that kind of stuff at night, I'm kind of like, I don't want to do it. So I leave stuff in the sink. And nobody really cares in my house. Nobody gives me a hard time about it. But guess what? In the morning when I get up, and I go down and I get my coffee, and I see last night's taco salad plates in the sink from last night, I just feel like really crummy. I do. I get up and I'm like, ugh, dirty dishes. Okay. So a week ago, I committed myself to start cleaning the sink out every night before I go to bed. This seems small to you, but I'm just giving you an example, okay? Do you know how good I have felt the last couple days? Well, last week I was very sick, so I didn't drink coffee for 4 days. And when I finally drank coffee, I was like, yay, my coffee again, I'm so happy. But every morning this week, I've gone down to the kitchen in the morning, and I've been able to just walk in there, like right over the coffee pot, and the whole sink is clean, and the counter, and there's nothing out, and I feel great. It makes me feel really good. Like, I'm like, yay, the kitchen's clean, I don't have to do the dishes. But it's because I did what I had to do, what I didn't really want to do, but I did it anyways, right? And it made me have that feeling, a really good feeling. Okay, it might be small, but I just want to, that's kind of like a little example of what this is going to do for you. So visualize yourself with that 6 most important things list, having it ready for tomorrow. You're going to get up and you're going to feel so focused, energetic, peaceful. Whatever that feeling is, you're going to have it because you know what you're going to focus on tomorrow morning. All right, so we're breaking it down and we're coming down a little bit here to the smaller. All right, so when you've got that splatter sheet, sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. So what you want to do with that sheet is you want to categorize things by really important, not really important, something you can delegate to someone else. In my home, I have 3 children. There's a lot of work to do with 3 kids, you know, like they're always forget their lunch or their violin or they, you know, just the housework and everything like that. Well, I have a housekeeper, but you know all the other things that we do in the home. Delegate stuff. I hate folding laundry. I told them to fold their own laundry. Thanks, Claudia. You gave me permission to do that. And so they get a basket and they get their own laundry now. Okay, so you got to learn what is really important and what's going to affect your business. What are the things that are going to create something new and are going to change the face of your business? Okay. So you're going to do that, and then, let's see. Oh, here's a really good thought. I love this. Okay. This was like a little switch went off in my head. When you make the 6 most important things list, put the one you really don't want to do that's the biggest task at the very top. Don't put the easy peasy one. Don't put the easy one at the top. Put the hardest one, the one you don't really want to do, at the very top of your list. Okay, and here's why. This is really good. I love this. Because start your day with the most difficult thing that you need to do. Because after you finish the first task, what do you feel? Accomplished, right? You feel like, dang, girl, I got that thing done. You're better than you thought you were. And then the other stuff, you'll just whip right through it because you've got that huge sense of accomplishment. When you're looking down your list and you're like, oh my gosh, there's number 6. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. And then when you go through your list and you've got 4 done and you have 2 that you didn't complete that day, one of those 2 is the hardest ones that you're avoiding. You've got to do it. Okay, you've got to do the hard ones first. And whatever you don't complete at the end of the day, what do you do with that? If you've got 2 things left that you didn't, they become number 1 and 2 for the next day. Make sense? So it's a rotating. Move it to the next day. Move it to the next list. Okay? Now, your 6 most important things list. You can use a little pad of paper. You can use your planner, your written planner. Just have it on the side. You don't have to create a worksheet. Okay? You don't have to create something. Just write it down somewhere on the side of your planner, in the corner, that day. You can use it if you have an iPhone. Reminders. You can use that. You can put it in for tomorrow. You know, you just go to tomorrow and you put your 6 things down there. So whatever method you use, just stick with it. Remember, it's not the method, it's the mindset. Okay? It's the mindset of what you're going to do. Okay, so now we're going to switch and we're going to, so does anybody have questions about just the time management before we switch to IPAs? Kelly, you have a quick one? Yeah.
Yes. I have 2 small children at home, 3 and 1. I have my 6 most important things. Not all of them are conducive to chasing the babies around. How would you recommend I sort of prioritize and whatnot? Because I have my list, it's just hard to find that, 10 minutes of time to pull my inventory for deliveries and write my thank you notes to hostesses when they're 2 and they're going in opposite directions.
Do they take naps?
Well, I hire my babysitter.
I was just gonna say, you need to get a little bit of help, but go ahead.
They nap, but not always together.
Mhm.
So that's a little tricky.
Okay.
So I have hired my babysitter. Once a week she's coming.
Hello.
She might be hired more.
Okay, so you're on the right track.
Mhm.
You've got somebody lined up to help you when you need them. As far as working with young children, I would just say you have to work in smaller blocks of time when they're occupied. You do things that you can do that don't need mental focus when they're busy, and then when they're not busy, you get on your Mary Kay stuff. If one is napping and the other one's not for some reason that day, you can put a video on for the other one, a DVD on for the other one, you know, just to kind of give you that 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You can do a lot in 30 minutes if you have your list ready, but if your 30 minutes starts and you don't have your list and you don't know where to start, your 30 minutes is gone like that. But in 30 minutes, you can make 10 calls. So, and I have some other tips we can talk about too if you want. Because I have done it with kids of all ages.
Me too.
And a child with special needs, so yeah.
I have a question about the important things. So how do you prioritize, like, what if you have 6 business things, but then where do you fit in, like, your personal things? Because I have, like, personal things that are on my mind, like, I gotta take care of. But then I feel guilty doing them because I'm like, I need to do business stuff.
Right, okay. So, we all know that we hear this a lot, if you treat it like a business, it'll pay like a business. So, we have to really guard, especially, you might think that working from home is easy. It is not. It's a journey of self-discipline to work at home, and especially being a mother and working from home, to learn the skill of self-discipline, it's like I said, time management, it's a journey. It is a journey. So, I don't have it mastered, okay? I'm standing here telling you, many days I screw up, I don't do a great job. But we have to kind of protect our business times and then protect our personal times. I try to set aside one afternoon a week to work on family stuff. Like if there's calls I need to make or appointment that I need to set up, or I need to spend an hour on the phone with this company and I know they're gonna put me on hold, it's gonna just kind of, and then putting everything for that. I actually have a folder and I just put everything in that folder for that day. So, I don't know if that helps a little bit. Okay. All right, so I'm going to come back to you in a couple minutes, okay, hon? All right, so we're going to go on to talking about IPAs and figuring, how many of you know what an IPA is? Okay, great, I love this. So this is brand new to a lot of people. Okay, really quick, tell me, what are some things we do in our business, with a Mary Kay business? What are some of the things we do? Just stuff we do. Whole classes, whole facials.
Make calls.
Sell products.
Interviews,
Do interviews. Coach hostesses.
Make booking calls.
get new
What do you
leads.
say? Talk to strangers. Get meet women. Get new leads. Great. What are some of the other things we do?
Computer work.
Computer work.
Emails, Facebook.
Emails.
Deliver products.
Put labels on products. Organize your office. Make hostess packets. Right? It's a lot of things that we do in this business. But what is important and what is not important? That's where we have to really, we have to focus on. Okay, what is an IPA? An IPA stands for Income Producing Activity. An income producing activity. Organizing your products, not income producing. No, it's not. You might think so, but it's not. Putting stamps on envelopes, stamping your catalogs, not income producing. Income producing activities are the things that create income for you. Maybe not this second, but it's going to create income for you. Okay? So we kind of gotten away from talking about income producing activities in the last little bit. We thought we would bring this back up so we could talk about what's going to produce income for you in your business. We're going to merge time management with IPA right now. So this is a sheet of income producing activities, and we're going to hand these out. But before we do, so it's really easy to get busy with the things that we do. This is something I have that I can put on Facebook. I've put it there before, which was done by Pam Shaw, and I really like it. It's a target, okay? And in the center, you are in the center. And the things that are in this circle, as you get closer and closer to the center, become more urgent and important to your business in creating income. For instance, cleaning your house, not income producing. I don't clean my house anymore. Does that sound like I live in a dirty house? No, I have a housekeeper. Unpacking my products, that's not income producing for me. Guess what? My 11-year-old can unpack a box for me. Okay, a 5-year-old could too. Get them to make it a game, you know? Line them up, match the sizes. Just don't open anything. Cleaning trays, organizing your office. As we get closer and closer, we're talking about more important things for your business. Hey, you ready, Donna?
Oh,
Yeah. I was gonna say chipmunk again.
Yeah.
That's our code word.
We didn't say chipmunk.
Okay, so I like this because it really helps us to think about, and I have this. This is actually the one from my wall that I have. So I know what to give to my office assistant and what I'm supposed to focus on personally. So what I'm supposed to focus on is booking, coaching, doing my interviews, warm chatting, networking, doing my unit meeting, training. All those things are things that I can't delegate. I have to do those things. I do have my assistant sometimes book for me. She does text booking and stuff like that. But that is really, is it ready? Okay, go ahead. So this is a 1-minute video that talks about a very popular way to think about, because Lindsay, you had asked a question about how do we figure out what is really urgent.
Before you set your priorities for the next 30 days, I'd like to share with you the most important idea I've ever learned about time management. In the 1920s, a college professor suggested that everything we do in life falls into one of 4 categories. The actions you take are either important, they contribute to your vision, mission, values, objectives, strategies, and high priority goals, or they're not important. The actions you take are either urgent, there's an implication of time pressure, or they're not urgent, there is no time pressure. Quadrant 1 is important and urgent. Your biggest client has a pressing need. The computer's crashed. You have a deadline-driven project you need to complete. Quadrant 1 items get done.
This is booking,
Quadrant 2 items are
booking,
important
coaching.
and not urgent. Think about it. Everything you do that improves the quality of your work and your life is in quadrant 2. Improving relationships, personal development, seizing new opportunities, developing and empowering others, problem
Training
prevention,
yourself.
preparation,
in your
and better
business.
planning are all in quadrant 2. They're important, but they're not urgent. Quadrant 3 is not important, but implies time pressure. There's urgency, and it's deceptive. It may feel like it's important, but it's just urgent. Many emails, phone calls, and meetings are not important. They don't contribute to your vision, mission, values, objectives, strategies, and high priority goals.
That's
Quadrant
where we
4,
become
it's
reactive
waste and excess.
to things. We react.
Here, there's no time
Not
pressure,
planning.
but you might find yourself lost on the internet, doing things that are not important.
Or Pinterest.
That's quadrant 4. Any time wasters and escape
No.
activities are in quadrant 4.
Producing, and it's not producing
The
anything for you.
principle is simple and profound. What matters most, matters most. So spend more time in quadrant 2. How do you do that? You plan for it. Your dynamic business growth plan is now leading you and your team to identify important priorities. By setting a priority, you're taking something that is important and making it urgent by identifying a completion date.
Okay, does that help you a little bit to see about how down here, those 2 quadrants are things that don't take us to our goals. They're not important. They're not urgent. They're things we waste time doing. If we exist in quadrant 1 and 2, then when you have opportunities that you want to take to do what you want to do, you can, because you feel productive and you've done what you needed to do. And when you get to do that, when you're able to just release yourself from those tasks and things that you need to accomplish, you can be so in that moment, whether you're spending time with a girlfriend or you're spending time with your family or you're reading a really great book you've wanted to read for a long time, you can be in that moment with no guilt. Totally no guilt. And you will love it. That's why we see our national sales directors loving their lives so much, because they've existed in those top 2 quadrants and they've done the work and they can enjoy and be off when they're off because they've done it. Okay, so this is an IPA sheet, and I'm going to tell you really briefly what this is because our time is almost up. This is a month IPA sheet. An income producing activity are things like holding a class, $100 in outside sales, 5 new contacts, an interview with your director, bringing a guest to an event, following up on, this says Choices CD, that was a long time ago, following up on a hotline, getting a new team member, yay! Okay, and then there's some that count as half of an IPA. This is a wonderful tracking sheet because here's the thing, if you track your IPAs for a full month, and you can start today, even though it says 1, you can put May 9th, 8th, 9th, whatever it is today, right there. And for a whole month, you track and you do little tick marks. So tomorrow, you start ticking off how many IPAs you did. And at the end of the month, you see how many IPAs you've been doing in a matter of a week. What you're going to see is you're going to see yourself pushing yourself to get more IPAs and to grow that area of your business. When you look at the week and you go, dang, I only did 7 IPAs this week. That's not that much. Well, down here it's going to tell you that in order to be a driving free consultant, you should be doing 15 IPAs a week. And this is true. This is right on the money, guys. It really is. And a director is 20 IPAs a week. We have a little bit different IPAs because we work with people in our unit as well. But I want to challenge you to take this sheet and do it. Actually track what you are doing and see how many you get to and how much you can stretch yourself next week. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you, at the end of May, are not where you want to be, it's probably because you haven't done the work. But here's a way for you to track what work you're doing. So that at the end of May, you say to yourself, well, I want to be driving free. It's not going to happen at the end of May, but I know that in order to be a free car driver, I need to be doing about 15 IPAs a week. Right now I'm doing 5, so I got to stretch myself. Next week I'm going to do 10. The week after I'm going to do 15, and then you keep it up. 15, 15, 15, 15. You keep going. Guess who's going to be driving a free car? You. You are, because you're doing the work and you're tracking it. So now we just push both of these things together with time management and IPAs. So you're going to get your weekly plan sheet together, a model weekly plan sheet. You're going to start making your 6 most important things list tonight. Write it down. Get that splatter sheet going. Okay, your 6 most important things is different from your splatter sheet. And start tracking your IPAs so that next month you're in a totally different place than you are right now. And you can be free car, red jacket, whatever it is, free director, woohoo! So, all right, so that's pretty much, yeah, that's all I had.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, Katie, so to pass this out, 2 quick announcements.